April 11th, 2015, I lost my leg in a boating accident. I was paddleboarding and I was run over by a boat. And from that moment in the water, there was a lot of miracles that happened for me to still be here. And then I just had overwhelming amount of support from everyone in Florida where it happened, to everyone in the Air Force, people from my hometown, just everyone reached out to me and supported me. And about that time we said, hey, we have a lot of support and we should do something with it. We should do something positive with all this support. And so we decided, really a group of us decided to start a nonprofit and do our first fundraiser where my accident happened. And then we decided to come to Haiti. My sister had previous experience in Haiti, and I obviously wanted to help amputees since I am one. And that's why we're here 2 years later. Partnered with a hospital in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince, called Bernard Mevs. They work with Project MedShare, and we partner with them, and they are a full-time hospital with volunteer quarters and surgeons and mostly medical teams come in and out, but we have opened a prosthetic lab. So right after
you learn a different culture, you see a different way of living, and you kind of see what these people are going through every day, and it's very inspiring.
Honestly, it's been an amazing experience, just so humbling, so blessing.
I've never been exposed to this ever, but it puts everything in perspective, that's for sure.
Because I'm fortunate enough to not need assistance, so I should provide my help where I can, even if that's outside of the United States or in the United States, wherever it is. It's just rewarding to help others.
How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Yeah. He was super pumped to learn the chest tree.
Yeah. We're gonna be 20 volunteers going to dinner. We don't get to sit on each other's lap.
What? Oh,
Dad,
you were.
if you want.
Okay, yes, I still want to sit in Ryan's lap. It feels so empty on this bus right now.
One who lost her leg in the motorcycle. Stacey, do you know who has keys to the prosthetic lab?
Your friend.
Wilbridge.
Yeah. Like, it's nothing that we can decide to do.
Yeah. Or should we wait and try to find the key and take him up there?
There's not going to be anybody with the key today.
Right after the earthquake, they had a fully operational prosthetic lab, which was in 2010. And then since then, that has shut down. But there's still some tools and supplies in there. So since our organization started, we just basically reopened the lab for the weeks that we're here. We come to volunteer quarters that are already operational. It's safe, it's inside, because Port-au-Prince is actually a pretty dangerous city right now, but we're inside this walled compound of the hospital that has guards, and we only leave with the hospital members, and we stay here, and all the amputees come to us.
We are a good hospital. We do a lot more here than a lot of hospitals do. Hospital is a very broad term in Haiti. Sometimes it's just people sitting around in a room getting meds passed to them, not a lot of assessment. Most hospitals can't intubate or ventilate. So we do a lot more here, but we're kind of an ugly hospital and we know it. We're getting prettier. So just make sure it's unlocked, which it is at the moment when it's popped out. I always check the handle. You can see the reason we are really strict about people not going out on their own is we are in the middle of a neighborhood. It is not the best of neighborhoods. I've never felt unsafe here, but so we were lucky enough to have our own CT scanner. There's not many in Haiti. There's more and more coming, but so right now it's not working, but patients come down, they get loaded on the lift. The lift goes up and then they go inside.
Oh, cool.
In ophthalmology, so all of these people are waiting to get into a clinic. It's kind of first come, first serve, so people get here really early and sit until they can be seen.
Because we get so much trauma, it's really hard for patients to come in and get elective surgeries. So this used to be the ICU. Now it's an extended stay.
But it's grown. It used to be more of like a clinic-y type hospital. and it's grown into the trauma center with donors. The hospitals put a lot of effort in it. It's privately owned by two surgeons. They're twins, identical twins.
Yeah, so our facility, our prosthetic lab, we got here and we didn't know where the key was, and the person that normally had the key wasn't here. So we had to finally found the key, got in there, and then the key broke off inside the lock. So we ended up kind of having to break the door down to get our supplies, which we left in there from last trip. We bring a lot of them home with us, but then we leave some here.
Okay, so this door had a little trouble getting into it first on, and now it's now I'll be looking into it to see if there's a way that I can get in without completely damaging all the parts and pieces of the door. And if not, then I'm just going to have to take off the lock and just completely cut it apart.
So our key broke off in the lock, and all our important prosthetic supplies are in there.
A day in the life in Port-au-Prince is crazy, and it's hot, and it's a blast. We get there around 8 and people are usually there waiting for us. We spend all day taking casts, interviewing patients, making impressions, fabricating sockets, setting up prostheses, fitting them, teaching them to walk, getting them therapy, getting them training, getting them emotional support, and it's like that for 5 straight days. It's very hot. If I didn't mention that, it's very hot. I described it to a colleague as turbo hot. Patients that I see in the US are for the most part very similar. Patients here are wildly different and wildly challenging. There's a lot of traumatic amputations, there's a lot of congenital amputations that are just very unique. And on top of that, I just don't have the equipment that I'm accustomed to. I'm not working with the people that I'm accustomed to. The process is different, so it's a lot of running around, but the collaboration is a lot of fun. The troubleshooting is a lot of fun. You definitely have to get creative with what you're doing.
Visited the kids probably 3 or 4 times since the earthquake and since taking them back to Haiti. So I'd seen them a few times, and I also knew from visiting them that they had gotten their prosthetic limbs, but most of them hadn't had updates in 3 or 4 years by the time that we saw them with one leg up on life. So I knew that it was a need. They needed new limbs. Kevin's was 17 and he hadn't had a new limb update in 4 years. You know, he's a growing 17-year-old, so.
So there were 2 things that we needed to build. We needed to build an athletic table, and the second one was a set of parallel bars. The parallel bars has been more encompassing just because to get all the tools, all the parts, I couldn't bring all the parts into Haiti because they were so long. With parallel bars, you want them to be about 8 to 10 feet. So folks with prosthetics can learn to use those legs and or their certain leg, and then so the athletic table actually was a quick fix because we had some tables available that were not being utilized. So we were able to cut a couple tables into pieces and utilize the table, and bam, we had an athletic table within about 20 to 30 minutes or something. Many people turned around and was just like, I didn't realize you could make it that fast.
Okay, so yeah, this morning I led a PT session with some of the amputees, and we focused on core and strengthening their hip flexors and abdomen so that they can better walk and prepare themselves for a second leg. So I just led a few ab workouts where we did some V-sits and Pilates and planks, and that was really exciting. That was probably my favorite group activity, and everybody participated willingly, which was really exciting because these are older folks, younger folks, a mix of everybody, and they're in civilian clothes, whereas I was in workout clothes, and I was excited that they all participated. And we got a few smiles at it.
15 seconds. 15 seconds. And you put your... You're determined. Strong. Keep going. Back. And
athletic training, yeah, just trying to assist, yeah. And so the problems as in treating any athlete anywhere is communication and how well you communicate with people. And that is the crux of the problem today for me, is how do I communicate well and use the appropriate words or sentence structure to gain the response that I'm looking for. And that's hard, regardless of the environment that we're in, regardless of the world we're in. It's hard to try and really connect with the person and have them feel that you see their problem. And I think that's the big problem, right? I'm facing a problem now that I'm trying to assist someone that's really beyond what I do. Mm-hmm. But given some of the choices that my orthoticists and other people here have given us, we're going to go a different direction and try that. And I think that will help. But again, it comes back to how well you communicate.
Right.
Regardless of the world you're in. I don't know how to say it any better. Right now, I'm very frustrated that I'm not doing and you say it very well. It's like so many situations you're in. It's not a one-on-one situation. Right. And even with those, are we still saying the same words? And now with the translator, am I going down the street with him, and is he on the same street with me?
They crutch in, they dance out. That's our motto. From the time they come in, I'll grab one of the translators and we'll interview the patient, talk about the condition of their leg, talk about the condition of their whole body, different types of terrain that they have to overcome, different obstacles in their day that they have to overcome, and things like that. Once we kind of determine the direction of the prosthesis, we'll take a plaster cast of their leg. After the plaster cast is done, we fill it up with liquid plaster, so that way we have a 3D image of their leg. We modify the 3D image of their leg, and once we're done, we pull hot plastic over it, and that hot plastic is what gives us our socket. The socket is then attached to a prosthetic foot, a prosthetic shin, and then if they're an above knee amputee or higher, a prosthetic knee. From there, we're just fine-tuning and adjusting and making minor adjustments until the patient is happy and able to dance right out of here. Watson is, he's 6 years old. He has proximal femoral focal deficiency. So basically his kneecap is up on his hip, and he has trouble walking because his leg is about 7 inches shorter than his sound leg. So we're making what I would call a prosthesis, which is kind of a hybrid between an ankle foot orthosis and an actual prosthetic leg. He could not be a cuter kid. He's very shy, but we see him coming out of his shell a lot this week. Yes. It has, it's basically an ankle foot orthosis, which will encompass his whole foot and leg, but then he'll also kind of sit on it so that he can bear weight a little bit more easily. And then underneath that, it will have a foot that matches his sound side foot so that he'll actually be able to walk comfortably, and hopefully one day he won't be able to, won't need to use crutches or a cane anymore.
It's just an amazing experience that Christy got me involved in.
It's an awesome way to kind of go outside of your comfort zone and experience your profession globally and with other people.
So I would just encourage anyone who wants to come, even if you think you don't have a skill, we'll find a skill for you. There's plenty to be done.
Because we would not be here without you, giving out these expensive prosthetic legs and supporting a team to come here. So thanks so much for that, and come with us sometime or keep following us to see where it's going.